Hi everyone. In this video, we will perform and interpret the results of a hypothesis test for the mean with the standard deviation of the population unknown. A nutritionist wants to determine whether the average calorie count of meals served at a hospital cafeteria is less than the recommended 600 calories for the hospital meals. The nutritionist randomly selects 10 meals and records the total calorie count for each meal. Use a graphing calculator to conduct a one-mean hypothesis test at the 10% significance level to determine if the average calorie count is less than 600 calories. All of this information given to us in the problem helps us to identify the hypotheses. So let's go ahead and identify the null and the alternative hypotheses. The null is that the average does equal 600 calories. And the nutritionist has an alternative claim that the average count is less than 600 calories. So mu is less than 600. We were also told that the significance level is 10%, so our alpha is 0.10. I like to visualize what's going on with the hypothesis test. So I'm going to draw a normal curve. And we see that the alternative hypothesis is a less than, which points to the left, which means we're doing a left-tailed test. And we have a significance level of 0.1, which is the area under here. And we need to go find the test statistic and also the p-value so that we can compare it to alpha. To find these, we could go ahead and just use our calculator. So let's open our calculator to enter our data. We'll press Stat, and then we need to edit our list, so we can go down and press Enter. I've entered all of this data in already, and if you have data that doesn't match, you can clear out your list by pressing Up, and then Clear, and then Enter, or Down. Mine is right, so I'm just going to press Down. And to verify that I have all 10 data points, I can go down and look that I have 10 here in my list. Now I can either press Second Quit to go to the home screen, or I can just press Stat because I'm going back in there to do a t-test because we don't have the population standard deviation. So we can press 2, or we can just go arrow down to the 2. Pressing Enter will run or open our t-test. And in this case, we actually have the data, not just the stats. So we're going to go over to the data and press Enter. The mu that we have is 600 calories. So we'll type in 600. Our list was written in list 1. However, if you have a different list on yours, to verify that it's list 1, we'll do second 1 for list 1. The frequency remains at 1. And we have a left-tailed test or a less than. So if yours isn't highlighted there, make sure you go over and then press Enter. And then down to Calculate. And this will show our t-value that we needed and the p-value so we can compare it to alpha. Let's go ahead and write these down. We have a test statistic of -1.6, and let's round this to 2 decimal places. And we have a p-value of 0.07. Again, just rounding it to 2 place values. We know the test statistic will be 1.61 standard deviations below the mean, and the mean is 600. However, we don't know where our critical value for the rejection region would be to compare our test statistic to. But we do have the p-value that we can compare to the alpha. The alpha is 0.1, so 10%, and our p-value is 0.07, so it is a smaller probability or area underneath the curve. So in comparing alpha to p, p is less than alpha, which tells us we need to reject the null hypothesis. It does fall within the rejection region. We can also interpret this into the hypothesis test that at the 10% significance level, the data provided sufficient evidence to conclude that the average calorie count is less than 600 calories. And now we're all done.